Hello, good evening, everyone. We're back again on the Unsaid show. I haven't been here for a while, guys. I missed you.
We missed you too,
I
honestly.
love coming, but sometimes it's just the time. But I'm so happy that we're a team.
Yeah.
And we're such team players. And we have Sahar. Yeah?
Hi, everyone.
And we have Sara.
Hello, everyone.
I think we're team players like the football.
Yes,
Don't you think?
we are.
It is.
You
We
know,
back
when
up
one
each
person
other.
can't make it, the other one is here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How crazy has that month been? Insane.
So much happening.
So much. And that last game, so I'm not a football fan, but I've become a football fan. And that
From this
last
year.
game, the problem with me is I stress when I watch it, and people are like, you stress? I'm like, yes, I have feelings, guys. I stress. And then one eye, there was only a tear coming out from one eye. I didn't understand the other one. But it was so emotional.
Yeah.
But I loved the team playing of Argentina. I mean, I know the goal is big, everything, but that team playing system, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that was
Yeah,
amazing.
that's
Sahar,
amazing.
how did you feel?
It was so nice, especially the final. And what I like about football is that it's very unpredictable.
Very.
You know, every minute something can happen and you're shocked. And football in general is something that brings us together. That
Exactly.
togetherness, we're going to miss it. So we need to
It
replace.
does, but sometimes it brings people apart when the teams don't win, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, that
I
too,
wonder
yeah.
how the team players feel like. Do they blame each other
I know.
for not, for not doing better, not doing good enough? I don't know.
maybe.
But I can't relate to you guys. I did not watch the
Come
football.
on,
Sarah.
Not even a single game.
Not
I'm
even
one
a
of those
teeny
peop-
weeny
not,
one?
Not even a teeny
Oh,
weeny.
God.
But I knew who won, thanks to Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat and all of
It
that.
was everywhere.
It was everywhere. So I knew who won. I know what was going on. So I kind of,
Yeah.
I get the gist of it.
But I was like that. I used to say, okay, who's playing today? They'll be like, I'll choose the best color, or who's most likely to. I'm like, okay, I'm with this team. And then the one who wins, I'm like, yeah, I was with them. But since Morocco played, and I got so emotional, I felt the belonging, and because it was in Qatar, it made me feel I want everything to succeed. I wanted,
supporting
I
them.
was really
Yeah.
supporting, and it's interesting because I felt I belong. Like we all belong together, and if they win, we win. If Qatar succeeds, we all succeed, and that
Yeah.
feeling was so nice.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
It really made a difference, it being in the Middle East.
Exactly.
It really did make a difference. The Hamas, the energy of, and all of that.
Exactly.
It was really
It was different.
nice,
Yeah.
different.
And it did make us, think that we can dream and things can succeed. We
Right.
always think, no, we can't do it. It always has to be on the other side of the world. But this shows that you can dream and you can succeed. So I love that. So let's go into a quick break and then come back and talk about our heavy topic for today.
This is Oman FM. is Oman FM.
Hello, and we're back on the Unsaid show. Today we have a very, very, very heavy topic, but we would like for you guys to join us in this topic. I'll give you the number first. If you're driving, please take care. And if you're not, you better call us because you're in a safe zone. Okay, so it's 24949493. I'll say that again, 24949493. Give us a call about this topic, which we're going to be speaking about suicide. Now, the reason why we thought about this, even though we've been debating because it's quite heavy and we were going to talk about it anyhow, is within these 2 weeks, a person that the three of us follow passed away. And when you follow this person, you will never guess that he's going through anything.
Right.
Actually, even the signs, even as psychologists, as therapists, as mental health, like it's kind of mind-boggling. And it's the dancer Twitch. Very, very sad.
I was quite shocked.
Yeah,
I used to follow him since So You Think You Can Dance.
Exactly.
And I used to love him.
I knew he was on the Ellen show.
Yeah,
So-
recently.
I used to watch him since I was studying in Australia on So You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah,
And he
it was
had an
amazing.
amazing talent,
Yeah,
like literally. And then he was called Sir Twitch. And then he started to go on the Ellen show.
right.
And
As
when
DJ.
Exactly, as a DJ, and he's a very close friend to her. And basically when the post came up, I was like, is he not well? It just didn't. And then I had to follow the thread.
Yeah,
And I was like, huh?
it was so heartbreaking.
Because in the beginning, they didn't say the reason or what was the cause of it. So when I first saw the news, I thought maybe he got sick, maybe it was an accident or something. But I never would have thought.
Exactly. You never,
Someone like
never
him
can.
would go through.
Exactly. And that's a very good
difficulties.
point, Sahar. Someone like him. Someone who looks happy. Someone who is famous. Someone who has a beautiful family.
Who dances.
Someone who dances with his wife and his family the whole time. All these videos that they show on their account. Your brain just does not register that there's something wrong.
Right.
And sadly, that's with quite a few actors and singers. Robbie Williams,
Right.
comedian, laughing the whole time, and he did the same thing, and many more, actors and singers. So we thought it's very important today to talk about this topic, although it's heavy, but it's much needed, and I think it's needed more than one show,
Yes.
more than one episode, because it's quite heavy and long.
Yeah, and it's not a taboo topic, because there are people who feel like, no, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hear about it. Because in families, they feel like if they talk about it, they are giving the idea to people around them, to their kids. But I feel the more we talk about it, the more we raise the awareness around it. And then we can prevent it, because it is preventable if we know the signs, the risk factors.
Yes.
And it's so heartbreaking when you see people who bring so much joy to the world. They are suffering,
Exactly.
hiddenly,
In silence.
in
They're so struggling in
behind the
silence.
closed doors.
And you know how we say that it's a topic that is so heavy? I wonder, but why does it have to be so heavy? It shouldn't be a topic that we don't talk about. I think it's the reason why we're here speaking about it. That's
Yeah.
why we are at the Unsaid.
Yes.
Is to talk about things that we don't normally speak up about
In different
That's
ways.
true.
in different ways.
That's true. But as humans, sometimes we want to run away from topics like this. Yeah, as we said, the unsaid, and we don't want to deal with it. It's too dark. It's too sad.
It's
I
a hard
don't want
truth.
to talk about it. Yeah. But talking about it actually could prevent the person who's next to you, who's going through something, and you don't know.
Right.
It could be someone you see day and night, and you don't know what's going on in that person's head. Now, around the world, of course, it's very scary numbers with people who commit suicide. And actually, one of the things I saw also that under 45, actually, it's sometimes higher
Right.
than
The
above
risk
40.
factor
Yes,
is
the risk
higher.
factor. And the interesting thing also is when it comes to men and women, actually men plan and attempt.
Right.
Women plan, and maybe in the middle of attempting, they might stop or
They
not
have
go
more
to the end.
thoughts.
Exactly. So that's also quite interesting, seeing that also the numbers of women who get depressed around the world are higher. But when it comes to this, actually, it's men, and it's because that reason we always talk about that men bottle things in. And
That's
women will end up talking to a friend
They
or a
express it in
colleague.
a way.
Exactly. So it's kind of a mixed emotion topic, because some people also will think it's a shame to talk about it. You know, why do we talk about it? It's, and especially with us, it's a taboo in our religion. How could he dare do that? Is he not religious enough? Is he?
Exactly.
Does he not read the Quran? He's definitely going to hell. And then we keep on saying this again and again to the family, on the media. I see this all the time. Do you guys read this as well?
Yeah.
I see this and I hear this on a daily basis. Since I'm a youth counselor, I
Yeah.
see a lot of teenagers.
Yeah.
And this is what they hear from society. They hear this from family, that, you know, I'm going to go to hell, but this is how I feel. And they kind of get this confusion between opening up and talking about it, but
Yeah.
also getting backlash for expressing how they feel. Because just because someone says they want to die doesn't necessarily mean that they want to attempt suicide.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we don't take it seriously.
Exactly.
true.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so-
That's true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of taboo behind the conversation.
Exactly. And I think when we say, okay, we understand in religion that this is not the right thing to do, but we need to address it differently. So when somebody says, I think I want, we don't go, oh my God, that's it, you're going to hell, you know, because then you're just closing the conversation. And then that person just suffers in silence. So it's got nothing to do with that part, with religion. When people go through things with mental health, it's not because they are weak in their religion or all of that. It is not that, because even in the Quran it actually states that people that are not in their right mind, people who are underage, these people, we don't take in consideration their actions because they're not okay.
Yeah.
So we cannot keep on just saying this all the time,
Judging people.
exactly. And it's always always there. The moment you say anything actually in mental health, it's because they're weak. Religion, it's not that. And if you're not sure, please go and read the Quran properly. Don't read what you think is right. It's very important. So I want to just talk about the risk factors that happen, you know, in suicide. So one of the things obviously is mental health. That's one of the things of people suffering in silence and getting to a time in their life where they just don't know what to do.
Exactly.
What do you guys think also would be?
The other thing could be a huge change when you notice in people around you in their daily routine.
Yes.
For example, they lose their appetite, they can't sleep,
Yeah.
or you feel like they are not as happy they used to be. Things that they used to make them happy is not making them. They can't laugh,
Yeah.
or you're talking to them and they're staring too long to
Yeah.
some points.
Yeah.
And in response, when you ask them a question, they take so long to answer back.
Yes.
It doesn't mean necessarily that's a suicide risk or
Yeah.
a sign, but you can take care
It's
of that
one of
sign.
the things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Substance abuse
Substance
also.
abuse,
Any
Yeah.
kind of addictions.
Yes,
addictions,
addictions.
withdrawing,
Loss.
loss, grief. Yeah,
Yes.
grief and loss.
Yes. And being negative. You know, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, your own mind.
Exactly. So you are attacking yourself. So these are risk factors that people don't focus on. Chronic diseases, being sick the whole
sick.
time, then getting fed up.
Right.
Like, you know what?
I'm just over this.
And I'm a burden on my family. I'm a burden in this world.
Relationship.
So I just need to leave. So these are kind of the things that people sometimes maybe don't focus on.
Financial struggles.
Exactly, yes. And especially with coming out of COVID and seeing what happened in COVID, that also could be one of the things that people will feel. And that's one of the things in COVID.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
During COVID, I think
Yeah.
a lot of people sat with themselves because we're so active all the time. The moment you sit down, everything like a wave just
you
washes
dig
all
deep.
over. Yeah, you start digging deep and maybe emotion starts coming out, more feelings, more trauma starts popping up, and then that feeling automatically comes up.
I always tell people, don't sit alone when you're not okay. Loneliness adds to these feelings attacking you.
Right.
So imagine if you're in a box and just, you know, there's this arrows coming to your brain with information. That's exactly
You get
what's
overwhelmed.
negative thinking. Then you just think, oh, well, I'm going crazy in my mind. I'm just gonna, you know, end stuff. So I hope you guys are listening into this talk, and you can call us. I'm gonna say the number again. So it's 24949493. And I think we should go into a little break and then come
Yes.
back again.
Yes.
Okay.
This is Oman FM.
So Sarah, with this song, The Fray, How to Save a Life, you told me that you used to sing to it, but you only understood it later on, right?
Yeah, when I was younger, I remember I used to be obsessed with this song. It was like on repeat, but then now as I get older, I understand the lyrics, and that just tells me how much now when we were younger, we just listen to the beat, we just vibe with it, but you don't notice the lyric. Don't carry the meaning.
That's right.
Totally.
Yeah, it's actually a very deep song.
It's very, and I'm wondering, because I like researching why songs were written, and this is one of the songs that I thought, I didn't research it. I wonder if he did lose a friend, because the way he's saying the words sounds very real. Like, what if I stayed the night? What if I was there? Maybe I could have saved this life. And I think that's how we feel. We always feel like, what if I was there? What if I did this? What if I did that? And I think losing a friend who then, commits suicide is very heavy.
Difficult. Yeah.
It's very heavy.
You might put the blame on yourself.
Yes.
And that's part of the grief process.
Yes.
When you start bargaining, asking questions of yourself, being angry at yourself that I could have done this, I should have done this. As you said, what if? A lot of what ifs will come up to your mind. That's why you say never is late. Before something happens, you can prevent by being there for each other. It's just noticing the signs.
Yeah. And I think one of the movies, I know the actress, I forget her name, but she's the actress is from the Harry Potter. And it's The Perk of the Flower.
The Perks of the Sunflower. Something like that.
Something like that. Call us in if you know the right name. But I watched this way long time ago. And actually it's a novel as well. And one of the characters actually did lose a friend in this. And he was battling with things. And there's another character who was battling with PTSD. So these films have come out a lot, from a while now. And it's always showing us that there's someone in pain and you might not know, and try and focus on that. And I love how it plays into drama therapy, because cinema therapy is actually way stronger sometimes than normal therapy. Like I was discussing today the movie, and then my daughter said, I read that book and it's really good. And then she was talking about other movies like All the Bright Places, all these films. She's like, Mama, I read the novel and then I watched the movie. Both were amazing. And for me as a mom, maybe a long time ago, I would worry. I'm like, why is she watching that? Maybe she shouldn't watch that. Maybe you will give her, how you think. Ideas. But it's actually a good thing, because then you discuss it with them. And I think the more we discuss with them songs, movies, poetry, art, the more they don't feel, this is really... it's a closed off topic. Exactly. Yeah, look, we can talk to it in different ways, and we do that sometimes, right? When there's poetry night or there's open mic. I think it's very important. Yes, it's very important, this awareness,
and also giving people the space to speak, especially with poetry and open mic, where they can share their stories. It's a space for them to open up, especially maybe some people can't maybe afford therapy, or maybe are not ready for therapy.
Exactly.
But providing that space where they can speak their truth without shame, without shame, without making them feel like that there's something wrong with you.
Yes,
that's so true. Because sometimes you feel difficult to talk about your personal issues, but when you talk through a movie, through an art piece or music, then you feel like it's a general topic.
Exactly.
I can easily share my own experience, but through that indirectly.
And you know what, sometimes we forget to just ask people, are you okay? It's a very simple sentence, but the emotion that you might see from the person not looking at you, no eye contact, putting their head down, or just doing like a little smirk laugh or hysterical laugh, these are all signs,
right?
But let's say, what are the other signs of people who might be going through this? Loss of appetite could be one of them. What else would you guys think?
Lack of sleep, withdrawing,
isolation. If you isolate yourself and you don't feel like I don't want to hang out with my friends, you stop being connected with people.
Dark humor.
Exactly.
Even like joking about wanting to kill themselves.
Exactly.
On social media nowadays, like on Twitter, people be tweeting about, I want to get hit by a bus, or saying things like that. Like, I feel like it's always important to still ask, regardless if that person is joking or not. It's important to ask the question.
And you know what they say now? They don't say the person tried to commit suicide. They say they tried to off themselves. Did you hear this?
I've heard that.
I heard this today. Like, that person in the movie who offed himself. I'm like, offed himself? What?
I feel that's very disrespectful.
It's like
to
switch
say.
off, like a switch off. It's quite interesting. It's like when I first worked in the hospital, they used to say when somebody passes away, they don't say pass away. It's like, how you buy something and it's written on it. It's a certain word, which now I think I blocked it from my mind because I really didn't like it. But it's like date of expired.
Expired.
They call it expired.
Yeah.
That's so harsh. I was shocked,
Yeah, that is not a nice thing
and
to
so
say.
there is words like this that might be not easy for people to hear, and they also feel ashamed.
And they shy away from the conversation when
Exactly.
you say these things, because it makes you feel like you're not taking it seriously,
Yes.
or you don't know what you're saying.
Yeah. And sometimes you're worried. If somebody says that, you panic, so you laugh. You're like, ha ha ha. No, you're not gonna do that. I'm like, no, I'm thinking, no, you're not thinking about that. Just
Don't
change the
think about
topic.
it.
Change the
'cause
topic.
you're not ready to have the conversation.
Exactly. And it's very worrying. Sometimes also some of the symptoms is the person's become extremely dramatic. Okay, as you said, dark
Dark
for example,
humor.
dark humor.
Or overreacting.
Or overreacting, or really, really not looking after themselves at all. If it was a very successful person, we find them not at all trying to do any efforts at all. Call us in at 24949493 and tell us what do you think about this topic as well. So I don't remember when I was in school talking about this topic. It's afterwards, but we never talked about
I
it.
remember in our school they only mentioned that religious part.
Yeah.
That it's forbidden and you shouldn't think of that.
Yes, I remember that in school, but I don't remember us talking about it, having a conversation about it, or us like just even with friends.
Yeah.
Although we used to have self-harms, but it was like we had a counseling room and they would go personally in that counseling room to discuss it, in silence, and we didn't know what's happening.
Well, that's great that in Iran they had that.
Yeah, we had, but it was not an awareness because it was in the
It
closed.
was like, don't do something wrong.
Yeah, it was like a punishment.
No, but you know what?
Okay.
I don't know if it's about generations or something like that, because this used to happen from a long time ago, of course. But I actually don't remember us talking about it.
Yeah.
In my generation, it was there. It was there with my mom's generation, my grandmother's generation was always there. But I think now, as much as we say, life is so difficult now, but actually there is a good side that people are talking about it. And maybe we feel it's a lot because there's social media. Maybe it was the same or even more. But now we see it. Now we see it, and it's more like, oh God, it happens.
It is that.
And that's why others come and attack and go, no, it's because, the topic we just talked about, the religion, all of that. I love how you said shame, Sara. You said some people feel ashamed.
Yeah, they feel ashamed about maybe, especially when they hear people, saying things like, you're going to go to hell, or that, there's something wrong with you.
You're so weak.
You're so weak.
Oh, you're weak.
You're
yeah.
dramatic.
Yes.
You're overreacting.
Yes.
This
I
is
think
so silly.
those words bring a lot of shame.
And you sit in silence.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like it's good to replace the word weak with vulnerable, because we all become vulnerable, even us as therapists, and that's part of life.
And we
Yes.
all get dramatic sometimes,
Yeah.
and we all overreact sometimes. So I think the way we speak to someone or how we bring the conversation is really important.
That's very important. Okay, so we're going to go in a short break, and we're hoping to hear your voice after it. Stay tuned.
This is Oman FM.
So Pink is one of those people who really writes things, I think, from the heart
Yeah.
and from experiences. I mean, that song, Just Like a Pill, is quite interesting. Love.
Yeah.
Love.
L'amour. That could really send you, like, that's it. The
Into a
person
dark
doesn't love
place.
me, and I'm just leaving, and I don't want to deal with this life. And especially when you're young, you really think there is no more life.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's it. This person doesn't love me. Then what's the meaning of my life? It has no taste, no feelings, right?
Passion.
And
But
a lot of suicidal thoughts come after breakups.
Exactly.
After when you feel heartbroken and when you feel rejected, that's when you feel like, you know, there is no point in my life.
And I'll ask you guys a question. Why do you think that's the reason? Why after breakups, after, you know, being with someone and then it doesn't work out, a person feels like they want to suicide, or they want, even when it comes to parents and they don't get that, receive that love. Why is that?
I think, like she said, it's like a life support.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
I told
That's
you
the
Pink has
needs.
words. No, but it's like a life support. You rely on this person. You see your future with this person, and even when we do groups of loss, a lot of people talk about loss of love and how it's a huge loss, right? Breakup.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the fundamental needs that we have. We need to be loved. We need to be wanted. And when we lose it, we feel like we have lost ourselves.
Exactly.
The words that we used to have within ourselves.
And especially if someone wasn't loved as a
And then-
child, or you know, or they think they weren't loved, and then they find this person, and sometimes it's very dark. That person could actually use them in another way, you know, but they will just stay with them even though they're getting abused, as we talked a lot about this topic
Toxic
before, a toxic relationship, but they feel it's either them or I kill myself. And I was reading this poem, and this woman, she loved this person so much that she didn't want him to see anyone else, so she plucked his eyes out.
Wow.
It's deep, huh? That's too much.
brutal.
That's if
that
love
is
can
so
kill.
extreme.
Exactly. So basically, Romeo and Juliet,
We have a lot of
greatest
stories.
love story, and what did they do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
So
just ended it.
exactly, there's an art piece I'd like you guys to see. If we could have the lovely lady inside, put it on. Thank you so much for that. By the way, I always want to say hello to the lovely people who are working here.
Oh, thank you so much for your
Thank you,
support.
guys. Okay, look at this picture.
Yeah.
I was
So
just
deep.
like, wow, and it looks like it's smoke, but it's like she's withering away. You know, she's just she's finishing. You know, it's like it's pulling away, and I thought it was really powerful. And also look at it's the time of sunset, and usually in mental health at the sunset, sometimes you feel
when-
low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a connection.
During the dark, like during the nighttime, is where the voices and all
Exactly, and
the
all- and
pain,
you're alone.
and you're alone.
Yeah, it's more in
It's
the
like you're
night.
withering
because
away.
your body even is more alert at night.
Exactly. And it's so interesting, you know, we go sunrise, then we go sunset.
Sunset.
It's basically your body now calms down.
Goes down.
So what do you guys think about this picture?
So those who are listening, this picture is basically of a woman sitting down on the floor, her face covered with her arms, and she's kind of like withering away. It's like, you know, it's like
It's like
smoke.
smoke.
Yeah,
I
smoke,
could see
shadow.
even
It's like a
flames.
shadow.
Yes.
It's like a flame fire inside.
And she's just withering away. And I think that's what happens. You slowly lose yourself until you're like, poof,
Disappear.
disappear. Can we see the other picture, please? So we talk about art therapy a lot in our program because it's very, very important to be able to express yourself through art, poetry, music, drama. And now with this topic, a lot of people draw, actually.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they tend to always make it black and white. Have you noticed? It's very rare that people who are going through this will actually put colors.
Colors
Colours
like
is
red,
life.
black,
Grey.
brown, gray, like dark colors.
Exactly. It's
Dark.
more like this. So now we're looking at an hourglass. I think that's what it's called, right? The one with the sand that goes sand glass. So, and there's a person. It's again, for some reason, both were female. It's not because it's only female, but again, she's like withering away.
It's like your time
with
is
time.
ending.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's degrading.
Yeah. And I saw another art piece where it was the same idea, but there was someone in the bottom pushing up the sand. I thought that was interesting. Like he's stopping, like, no, you will not wither away. You know, so it's interesting how art
That was
plays with our
opposite.
emotions. It's quite interesting.
So interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, it's something that we hear. Recently, we've been hearing it maybe a bit more because of social media. Again, I'm going to just stress on, it's not something new. It's been there, but now we see it more because on how fast social media is. A while back, was it a year ago or more than a year, there was a girl, the same thing, she passed away and she wrote a letter. And this letter was shared everywhere and everybody was speculating and saying so many things and throwing the blame on this person, that person, and how could they not know, and making up stories. And I was just thinking, in all of this dilemma, how would a person thinking of doing this feel right now, or wanting to seek help? How would that person feel right now? And as a therapist or a psychologist or anyone in mental health, you cannot go and say, oh, this is a person I saw, and yes, her, you know, this is what was happening. That's a no.
It's confidentiality, regardless if the person
Exactly.
is alive or not.
Exactly. So some people think, oh, the person's not here now, we can talk about them. No. It's confidentiality. This person has family, friends, and it was a person. It's not a project, it's a person.
Yeah.
So cases like this, how do you guys feel when you have a case like this? Like someone just saying, I think I have thoughts.
That's very difficult. You go first.
I take every word a client says seriously. When someone says that I want to kill myself, or I don't want to be here anymore, I think as a therapist you start picking up the signs and the words. You just know, even from their body language. And a question we ask in therapy as well is, do you have thoughts of suicide? Do you self-harm? We ask this question just for more clarity and information for ourselves. But I think sometimes when you hear your client going through that, you just want to protect them. You know, of course, as a therapist, you can't do that. You need to set boundaries.
Yeah.
And we always set boundaries.
Yeah.
It's just like, I want to protect you. Like, tell me more, more. And then we find ways to prevent that from happening.
We
That's
do
true.
care about them, and we
do.
follow up. You know,
It's a client-patient relationship, and I mean a client-therapist relationship, but we cannot take it to the next level as going home with the patient, and a lot of the patients might think, why don't you come with me? You know,
Or
why
call and
aren't
check
you
up.
calling me? Why aren't you don't care about me?
Yeah.
But it doesn't work like that, because then you rely on us, and we are helping you to pick up yourself, to know how to move on in
to
this
find
world.
your strengths.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when people go to therapy as well, it's another thing of learning how it actually is, because a lot of people will say, oh well, you know, it didn't work. And I think young therapists and psychologists, I'd like to send this message to them: don't feel like you have been defeated, because you might have a client that might actually hurt themselves. It is not your fault. You're helping as much as you can, because a lot of people will, again, self-blame.
Yeah. And even as therapists, sometimes, like, especially if you're new in the field, you feel guilty.
Yes.
You feel like, what more could I done for
Yes.
this client or
Yeah.
for this person I'm seeing?
That's true.
And the blame can become intense, but I think with time you start learning that you do the best you can, and especially for us, when we see clients who are younger, under the age of 18, it's important that we let them know in the beginning of the session, like, if there's any harm to you or anyone else, I do have to inform someone.
Report.
Yes.
Report it, and if I do need to report it, I will let you know.
That's very true. Supervision for psychologists and therapists.
Yeah.
are very
Supervision
important.
is there.
And when we say having years of training and work is very, very important.
Yeah.
But it's a very it's a difficult subject, not because we shouldn't talk about it, but it's literally, sometimes you think, oh my God, what if this person just ends their life? So what we say is, does the person have a plan?
Yeah.
So this is one of the things you have to watch out for. Does the person have a full-on plan? Okay, or is he or she just saying it? And again, we have to listen.
Yeah.
Does the person write down the plan? Does the person watch a lot of footage about it? Does the person keep on talking about it? Does the person write random sentences? You know, all of these things
Give away their things.
exactly.
Yeah.
Are they talking to you like they're not going to see you tomorrow? I mean, some friends talk to you anyway like that. Like, yeah, you know, you better do this for me, otherwise, you know, I might not be here tomorrow. Not that kind of not be here tomorrow.
Threatening.
Like a very deep. I might not be here tomorrow.
Yeah, and taking every sign seriously.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to ask the question, asking the suicide question. Like, there's no shame in asking if you notice any signs that, you know, are you feeling
Have you
suicidal?
ever done that? Have you ever thought of it?
Have you ever thought of it?
That's true. Okay, hold that thought. We're going to come back and we need to continue on that topic.
This is Oman FM. FM.
So hello everybody, again we're on the Unsaid show. We're having this topic today about suicide, and I think it won't be the only time we will talk about it again, just to get people to understand more about it more and have awareness about it more. It's a very, very important topic. The number you can call to talk to us about it is 24949493. I'll say that again, 24949493. You can also DM us on our page, Not Alone Oman, and we'll read those messages and we can talk about it even next time, inshallah.
Yeah. We're gonna have a second segment.
Yes, and be aware when you say, for example, I feel like I want to commit suicide, or I don't want to live anymore. Try and think about it while you're saying it. I mean, I'm not saying sometimes you'd say it from your heart because you're tired, but sometimes we tend to say it very lightly
Or casually.
It's not a casual word to say that.
To joke about.
It's not a casual word to joke about
Something
either.
that to say is some people tell people go kill yourself. That's
Yes.
it's like a trendy
Part of
thing, and
bullying.
I don't think
Exactly.
it's a nice thing
It's
to
not
say.
a nice thing to say at all. So please be aware when you say it. Be aware about people around you who are listening to you. Be aware about how your family might feel, your friends, people around you. But again, if you are going through something, please seek help. Speak up. Speak up. Explain why you're going through it. And maybe sometimes you don't know why, or you
Yeah.
can't explain actually, but just say whatever comes to mind.
Because sometimes to you it's end of the world, and the moment you start talking about your issue, someone else can give you a solution, can give you a slight bit of hope, and that hope can save your life.
Exactly.
This week I saw something on social media which was very nice. There is a bridge in Australia that people go and jump to do suicide, and other people notice that, so they go and they write a letter for people who
so
go
nice.
there, just to tell them, and there is a sign there that there is always a hope.
It's
And they
always-
write to them. So imagine, even one word can change your life if
Big
you just
time.
see that people are thinking of you, strangers who don't know you.
I know, and it's happened so many times, sadly, that people would, jump off a bridge. Even people would say it as a joke. Oh, go jump off a bridge,
Yeah.
But it's not a
Yeah.
joke.
You don't
It's
know
not.
what that person is going through.
And there's students who, the last year of school, like in certain countries, would actually do this a lot,
Yeah,
just because they didn't get a degree, and I mean
a good grade.
a good grade, not even a degree, and they think that's the end of life.
Yeah.
There's so much things one can do in life.
And I
There's so
always
much stuff.
believe that, sometimes when a person wants to end their life because of a degree or love, I feel like there's always something deeper.
Yes.
There's something more that you're going through that maybe you don't realize and you don't see.
Yeah.
And that's why, when you come to therapy, it's like we're digging.
Yeah.
We're going into the root cause, like where is this coming from?
Yes.
Where is this pain rooted from? And then you start becoming more aware of how to work through that pain
Yeah.
instead of just because killing yourself is the easy way out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not a challenge, guys.
It's not.
It's like I just want to go. I just want this.
I want to finish.
And the thing is, something I tell my client is, you wanting to end your life. It's not because you want to die. It's because you want to kill the pain.
Yes.
You want to end
Numb
the
it.
pain.
Finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's like an aha moment. It's like, yeah, maybe I really don't want to
Yeah.
end my life. I just want to end this brutal pain.
Yeah.
And
I like
us
that.
therapists, we're here for you. We have Not Alone. We have the support, and we host
Exactly.
youth as well. We bring
Yes.
in youth. We talk about these topics.
We learn from the youth.
and we
actually.
learn from the youth.
But
Because
you
they
know,
speak up.
Exactly, but it is very interesting that sentence which you just said now, Sara, that sometimes they just want to numb the pain and want to finish the pain, and when I ask them, why do you think that's going to be better? Because then I'll just relax, or I'll just be happy if I do that. I'm like, how do you know?
How do you know?
No, because people do that. I'm like, okay, but nobody has gone to ask them
Right.
after that. How does it feel now? Like
How do you know
ironically
it's gonna
saying
be
it.
easier and better?
Exactly. So they say, no, we just want to end it because then it'll be better. And sometimes they'll actually tell me, why don't you want me to? And imagine listening to this as a
yeah.
therapist. I'm like, I can't tell them, No, why? You there's so many options. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the pain. Let's
talk
break
about the
it down.
pain.
Exactly.
Let's write solutions. Let's find another way. That's what we are here for, is to find another way.
Yes.
And also something I do in my sessions is always have like a piece of paper of maybe some coping mechanisms in the moment. If you're feeling that in the moment and you don't know what to do, like what are some risk factors? What are things to look at?
Yeah.
What are the triggers?
Exactly.
Those are things are...
Speaking of root reasons that you mentioned, Sarah, in our sessions we try to focus on meaning of life.
Yeah.
Because when you lose your meaning of life, you feel
Then
like
you
there
lose
is nothing, there is no hope in my life
Exactly.
to stick myself to
Yeah.
that. And sometimes losing that meaning doesn't mean that there is no meaning. Maybe you deserve to have a different meaning, a bigger meaning.
And everybody on earth here has a place and a meaning and a worth. So we hope that this episode was meaningful for all of you. You all deserve to have a wonderful life. You all have a meaning to this life. Always remember you're not alone. And we always say that. And we always say our famous sentence. Are you ready, guys?
Yes.
Yes. That
Change begins with you.
Have a lovely evening and good night.
Good night.
Good
And
night.
you are loved and you are enough.
This is